camera real quick. There we go. So, anyways, sorry, for some reason I was trying to get the chat up and my stuff up that I usually have on the thing, but it wouldn't let me do it while I was in the stream, so I had to restart it for this, but not a big deal. Like I said, I'm not exactly too sure how long I'm going to be on tonight. I do have work in the morning. I picked up a job. I'm going to somebody's farm and helping them cut the grass, weed whack, and kill weeds with some spray stuff. It's a day's worth of work, and it'll be something I do once a week. So it's a day, you know, it's not every, but it's, hey, that keeps fuel in the van every day. Just that one job, that one day will keep, you know, me fueled and for the week. So if I can, you know, and I did start back up on the neighborhood app. I re-downloaded it and used a new email and able to get it here. And that thing is already, I've got like 6 people already messaging me for work. So it's definitely very active here. So that's a pretty good plus thing. Pretty excited about that. I got to be out there at 8:30 tomorrow. I should be, you know, done by 4 or something like that. It's gonna be nice and cool tomorrow. It was very cold today for Florida standards, and Florida's just a different kind of cold when it gets cold. But it was very good for sleeping. You know, luckily I was able to roll my windows up completely, and it stayed pretty warm in here. But like that, just, I mean, it's a little chilly, but nothing a blanket couldn't handle. You know, it wasn't too bad at all. But like I said, I got that job tomorrow, and then I'm at Walmart parking lot today because it's on the other side of town, but that's also where the job is. So figured I'd do a night here. I don't want to make it an everyday thing here because there is no overnight parking signs as well. But if I do it every once in a blue moon, I don't think it's a big deal, you know, especially on the days I have to work out on this side of Sarasota. So that's why you're seeing me instead of a pretty view, because it's not very much of a view if we switch it around. So I figured I'd do this. Anybody who doesn't know, my name is Nick. I'm homeless, type 1 diabetic. I live in this van that we see. You know, I've been homeless for a while now. I got very sick about a year and a half ago. I lost my company. I was in the hospital for a while. Got very sick. Got better for a while. Not doing the greatest now, just because I don't have, you know, the necessities I need. You know, like to eat properly and do all these things. But I'm getting better. You know. I had some people reach out to me today too from just the neighborhood app that are offering, you know, diabetic supplies, which is awesome, because that's my biggest concern, is not having the right things to take care of myself, you know, with the supplies that I need and all that. I mean, it's still, food's a very big issue, but at least, you know, I have I'll have insulin and stuff like that, you know, with the, you know, the outreach between the community here has been pretty good, you know, here as well. You know, like I said, I got like 6 or 7 messages just today about work. So that was very good. I did go to that program today. I got referred to it. Like I said, I knew they did give me some test strips. They had some of those. So that's good. So I can check my sugar more often now. But the biggest thing is, you know, they're more, you know, like a first aid, you know, clinic, not, you know, serious stuff like what I got. So they did refer me to a place. I called them. I'm just waiting for a call back from them to schedule me in. Then I'll hopefully get a doctor soon, so that'll be great. Like I said, I just got to build my roots here and do what I got to do and to survive, and I'll make it, you know. And it's been a challenge, that's for sure. It's not easy. Every day I've got to figure out what's next, and I'm making it, so that's all that matters, you know. Tomorrow I'll make like $100, and you know, I'm gonna put 60 of that in fuel. That'll get me close to full again, as long as fuel doesn't keep going up. And then I'll have a few bucks left over, you know, towards be able to get a little bit of food or whatnot. I do need to get this thing an oil change soon and brake soon, so I'm going to start saving up for that. It's my next big project, is getting this thing a brake job, and also getting an oil change, which is going to cost me quite a bit of money. But the brakes were horrible in it, and I'm also going to get turning lights put on this thing, because all of them, they happen to all blow all in one day. It was weird. Besides one, I have one turning signal. The front passenger turning signal works, and I don't want to get a ticket. And you know, of course, it pisses off people because I'm not using turning signals. I try to use my hand signals, but they don't always see them, you know. But it is what it is. Oh, I thought that was a tow truck for a second. Like, they better not. It's not even past closing time yet. But yeah, you know, it's just the matter of keep fighting, keep going, keep doing the best I possibly can. I'm gonna keep doing these at 8 o'clock. I don't care if we have no viewers or 100 viewers. You know, I enjoy doing these, and it makes me feel not so lonely. It's being homeless is a very lonely thing, especially when you know, it's like, you know, it lets me know people care still, because if I didn't have this, you just sit out there every day and you're like, wow, you know, I'm alone and struggling and not a person in the world cares. But when I have this makes me, you know, feel cared about, and I appreciate it, you know. But like I said, I'm pretty excited about work tomorrow again. Things here are, like I said, there's so much work here. And, you know, if I can stay busy by myself, I'll do that. But if I have to, you know, if things slow down, I'll definitely look for a regular job. I still got to get my birth certificate and my social security card before I can, really. Most places are going to need that. But I have someone, you know, I have another person, I have one person in next week that wants me to help move. It's only going to be 4 hours, but they're going to pay me $50 an hour to help them move, so I'm down with that. Then we have 2 other people that wanted yard work done, another person that wanted some handyman stuff done, and then like 2 or 3 people that reached out to me with insulin stuff. So like I said, that neighborhood app is, you know, I'm so glad to have it back, because that was a lifesaver in Cocoa. And it wasn't even nearly that busy, but here it's just extremely, like, everybody's wanting stuff done, you know. So and this one thing, like I said, it'll be a weekly thing if I do good enough to help on the farm once a week. It's not great pay, it's $15 an hour, but hey, you know what, that $15 an hour is $15 an hour less than I had, and I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna do it, you know, until I get, you know where I need to be. I'll do that, you know. But it's just, you know, I've got to keep focused and got to keep doing it. Like I say, every day, that's what I do. I'm not just sitting here, you know, doing these and hoping that, you know, people, you know, support me and doing all this. I'm actually out there doing stuff every day. Because I don't, you know, I appreciate the support, but I want to be able to take care of myself eventually. It's just really hard when I have so many things I've got to do. But I'm trying my best to make it so I can, you know, support myself. Now, granted, you know, any YouTube channel gets donations, whether they need support, whether they're homeless or they have $1 million in the bank. But that being said, you know, I still want to, you know, make sure I can, you know, I don't want to have to rely on anybody, you know. But that's the, you know, that's where I'm trying my best to get to, and that's what I'm going to do. Lighting is not the greatest in here. I apologize about this. I have a little flashlight going, whatever, because it's getting pretty dark out and whatnot. But, like I said, it's either that or look at a tree, and I didn't think the tree was very entertaining. I'm not very entertaining looking either, but I think I'm better than a tree. I hope. Maybe not. Who knows? Anyways, you know, I'm just got to keep plugging away, and I'll get there, and it'll be all right, you know. I'm tired today, though. I'll tell you that. I like these Gatorade Zeros, and they're good for me, and they're refreshing. I picked up some of those today. I needed something different to drink than water, so I picked up one of those 8-packs or whatever. Just running low on cash now, but that's okay. Make some tomorrow, you know. And then I'll be good for a little bit. You know, that'll put me a couple days worth of food, and like I said, fill up my tank. That'll get me through for, you know, the fuel will get me through for a little while. I don't drive around too much, so it should last a bit. The food won't last that long. That's only a couple days worth of food, but that's all right. It's a couple of days I don't have to worry about, you know. It's just another step, and hopefully, like I said, you know, I have other stuff that will hopefully be lining up, and I'm going to continue pushing the ground and you know, figuring out what I got to do to survive. And I got my sugar down pretty low earlier. I think it's a little bit high right now. It's starting to go back up, but I was at like 500 earlier, and then I got it down to like 119. Now I haven't checked it since, but I feel like it's going back up again. Definitely not like in the 500s like it was. I was feeling really bad then, but I don't know. It's just another day of paradise. Oh, I love Sarasota though. It's so beautiful. It's definitely, you know, where I want to be. So I haven't felt content in a place in a while as I do here. There's just a lot of hope here because there's a lot of opportunity. And, you know, I'm not, like I said, I would love to have, you know, do it all on my own if I could, but it's hard sometimes. but there's enough opportunity here where if I try hard enough, it might take a little bit, but I definitely can. I can be very successful here. I'd love to have my company back eventually. I made so much money, did so well for myself. That's definitely a big goal of mine. But, you know, we'll see how that goes. I have a lot of hopes in life, and a lot of, you know, a lot of prayers, and hopefully, you know, things will start getting better, and I'll be out of this van eventually. Because I'll tell you what, it'd be nice to have a bathroom and have a shower and have a just to be able to stand up, you know, and not be outside, you know, stand up inside and actually just be able to stretch around and you know. But I'll get there one day, you know. And like I said, you know, I appreciate everybody who follows along, and sometimes we got some big audiences and sometimes we don't, but it's okay. I'm just happy to be alive today, you know, and that's what I've got to be, you know. I've got to be happy, and I'm appreciative of what I have. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's very hard to, you know, understand everything you have and respect everything you have when you're this far off in life. And, you know, you feel gross. You feel like, you know, people look down on you, which they do. Not everybody. I mean, you guys don't. Some of you, you know, I've had some bad comments, but you're going to have that no matter what channel you do. No matter what you're covering, there's always going to be that one person, and I got to try to shrug it off and not let it get to me. But this gives me hope, and it gives me, you know, a reason to try. You know, it can get difficult out here, though. You know, being homeless and a type 1 diabetic is not very easy. How did the doctors go, kitten? It's no worries. It's been very slow tonight. We haven't had anybody on yet. I think you are the first viewer, or maybe the second viewer. I don't know. But not a problem, kitten. Hopefully the doctors went well. Like I was saying, I did land a small job for tomorrow. It's going to be about a full day. Cheap pay, but I don't care. I'm going to do it. $15 an hour. I'm going to go help somebody on their farm for the day. Awesome. Glad you got a new doctor. I got a referral today for a diabetes doctor. I gave them a call. I just got to, you know, they get busy, so might take them a day or two to call me back. But hopefully I'll get in there. I did get some test strips at the clinic today that I went to. Yep, money is money. I don't care if it's, you know, I'll do it. I mean, it's $100. You know, I'll make a little over $100, and that'll fill up my tank, and that'll give me a couple days of food, and I'm happy about it. You know. It's not the pay I want, but it's definitely the pay I'm going to do right now, because it's better than no money at all. And it's going to be a nice cool day tomorrow. So, you know, it's a good day to do it, at least. At least I'm not going to be out there sweating really bad. Today was really cold. We just had a cold front come through. Sorry, my nose has been bothering me all day. We had a cold front come through, and it was only 48 degrees this morning, which doesn't sound that cold, but for some reason in Florida, 48 is extremely cold. Like, if 48 in Maine, I could be out there in shorts and a t-shirt during the winter, but 48 here is just a totally different type of cold. Now, it did warm up a little bit today. Got in the mid-50s, this low 60s, but it's going to get cold again tonight and back in the 40s, which is good sleeping weather. Once I roll up the windows, I'm good. You know, I have a blanket and I have all that stuff. Well, that's awesome. That helps in life, I'm very sure. I have another job next weekend. Next week, too, I've got to help somebody move. They're paying me $50 an hour. It's only going to be 3 or 4 hours, but hey, that's a couple $100. And that's going to pay for my, you know, I'll refill up my tank again and stock up on some, you know, canned good foods like SpaghettiOs and stuff like that. Even though that's not the best for me, it's cheap food. I did get a burner, and I have a burner. I did get some pots and pans, so I'm gonna maybe get some like ramen noodles and stuff like that, where I can boil water and make something warm, so I'm not always eating cold food. It's not too bad. That's about what it was here today. Like I said, we had that cold front come through, so this morning it was a little bit chilly, but it did warm up to the low 60s. It's going to be the same way tomorrow, and then be back up in the 70s and 80s in the next few days after that. Good thing about Florida, though, is if it gets cold, it doesn't last long. It gets cold for, you know, a couple days, and then it warms right back up. So that's a pretty good thing, you know. I got to be up early tomorrow. I get up like 6 or something like that, so I can get up, wake up, and go into Walmart and use the bathroom and maybe like wash my face up or something, get changed and all that stuff. Probably do another small load of laundry this weekend if I have a couple bucks left over. If I can get another job or two, which I should be able to. And like I said, I have had, since I put the neighborhood app up yesterday, I've had 6 or 7 people already reach out to me for work. So yeah, I'm sure it's different. It's weird though. Like if you live in if you're in a cold climate and you hit 50 or 60, you're like, wow, this is summer. But if you're in a hot climate and it goes down to 60, you're like, wow, this is horrible. It's just strange how it works. Like it's a different kind of cold, I guess. A lot of the problem here is it's so humid here too. So when it gets cooler, it's a wet cold, and it's usually windy. So it's a damp, windy cold, and you just feel a lot colder than it is, So there's that. But it's definitely way better than it was in Maine. I'll take the 50s over the negative 20s any day. Now that I'm sure it's warming up over there, I haven't checked the weather over there in a long time, but I'm very sure it's probably warming up there too. We'll be back up in the 80s in just a few days, anyways. So it's very small. When we get cold fronts, like I said, they don't last long. But pretty excited, that to have the neighborhood app back. That thing is it helps out so. Or next door, not neighborhood, next door app. That thing is I tell you, it's wonderful. There's so many people looking for people to just do small projects for them, and that works perfect for me. Some pay great, some pay horrible, but work right now, and I'm gonna take whatever I can do. So, and I don't care if I've got to, to a standard. If somebody offered me like below, what it's worth, I'm not gonna do it. But $15 an hour isn't horrible, especially when it's cash. You had some flooding and wind. Yeah, it's been pretty windy here. We haven't had any flooding. I mean, when it rains, it ponds everything really fast because in Florida it just rains so hard. It's like, I don't know, probably the rain is some of the hardest rain I've been in. When it pours, it pours and it floods quick, but it goes away pretty quick as well. But no, I'm happy to have something to do tomorrow. I did go to that resource center today. Like I said, the doctor looked at me. They gave me some strips so I can test my sugar off, and then they referred me to a diabetic clinic because they can't do much there. I mean, I need a specialist. I have to have labs and stuff like that done all the time to check on my condition and stuff like that. But I was able to have lunch over there today, which was nice. It was just a sandwich, but it was a free sandwich. I didn't have to pay nothing for it, so I understand. That's good. I won't be able to have one over there tomorrow, but I'll be able to eat when I get out of work. I don't have money to eat till I get out of work, but I'll be good till then. Once I get out of work, I'll get some food, stock up on a few things, and I'll be, good for a few more days. And I'm just gonna keep pushing it. If I can, find work every day or even every other day, I'll be all right now. So, and there's so much to do around here, and there's so many people looking for help. So, just like I said, just to do odd jobs, and like I said, I'm helping somebody move, and I'm doing this yard, and I have another yard that somebody else wants some stuff done around the house, and another person wants some stuff done around their yard as well. If I can just keep plugging that away, I'll be all right, and I'll be able to start actually saving money. Like I said, my next goal is I'm losing brakes in the van really bad. They're getting dangerous, so I've got to replace those soon. I got to get a quote on doing that. I don't know how to do brakes or nothing like that. I can do a lot of stuff, but when it comes to brakes and stuff like that, I don't like to mess with them, because if you don't do them right, that's pretty dangerous. And then I can do the oil change myself. I got to do that, and this thing is, hasn't had one since I left Maine, and we went from Maine to New Mexico to here to there to there to there to there. Yeah, it's to the point to where like you're stomping on the brakes, and when you're stopping, actually you can hear the brake pads slide once they stop. Like they don't catch all the way because they're so ground down. But like this thing is went, probably 6,000 miles. A little more than that in the last month and a half. I've been driving the crap out of this van. So, but I really, really enjoy it here, and I'm definitely going to stick around here. I don't want to go, even if I get offered another job somewhere else, it's got to be here, so. Because if something doesn't work out, I got to stop. This thing's not going to keep making it if I keep driving it around far distances. At least if I break down here, I'm here, you know. So, I also, it was kind of weird, and I never heard of this before. So I was talking to them over there, and they were like, well, you know, we know you don't need it, but they're, since you have your van, but there is the Salvation Army. And apparently the Salvation Army here charges homeless people $15 a night to stay at the homeless shelter. Now, if you have an income, that's okay, but some people lose everything and they have no money. And it's illegal to be homeless in Florida. You can't sleep on the sidewalks. You can't sleep outside anywhere. If you get caught, you go to jail. But they're charging people $15 a night, which I thought was ridiculous. I've never heard of that in my life. What kind of homeless shelter charges you if you're homeless? I mean, that's, you know, what's 15 times 7 is, it's 70 plus 5 is 7 is 35, so that's $105 a week. Is that right? Yeah, $105 a week to stay at the homeless shelter. Now, homeless people don't have, that's $420 a month to stay at a homeless shelter, which a lot of people don't have if they don't have income. I couldn't afford that right now. You add that on top of everything, which I wouldn't stay there anyways. It's not a very nice homeless shelter either. It's just a run down homeless shelter. You know, it's just, you know, it's very not, you know, it's not the best place in the world, and they're charging people, and I think that's just horrible. I think that should, you know, homeless shelter should be free, not, you know, and should be taken care of through taxes or whatever. We spend all this other money on taxes. We should be able to help our homeless with it, especially if we make a law saying it's illegal to be homeless. I just thought that was ridiculous. I've never heard of it in my life, of a homeless shelter charging you. They do give you 5 free nights, apparently, but after that, after the 5th night, you have to pay. I don't know if it's lack of funding that they're getting for the reason why or not, but I guess it's been like that for years and years and years, and I just think it's really sad. But I don't know. That kind of upset me today when I thought of that. I was like, how can you know, not that I'm planning on staying there, but just for other people. I see all these people who have nothing, you know, and they're getting threatened with going to jail. But if they don't have $15, they go to jail. You know, if they don't have enough money to pay for the shelter for the night, it's just silly. But I don't know. Like I said, this won't be a long live. I'm probably only going to do a half an hour show, so probably get another 8 minutes or something like that tonight. Yeah, I don't feel that that's okay. I just feel that's really bad, and that's not a good thing. And it really upset me today. Like and it's like, just because I see so many people out there that need it, and what happens if they don't, you know, what happens if they don't have the $15 and then they have to sleep outside and then they go to jail? You know, it's sad. And it's not, you know, it costs more for the county to pay for somebody to go to jail than it does to have them in a shelter. That's for sure. So, I mean, I would think it would be beneficial to have a free shelter. That would save the county resources on police and stuff like that, you know? Plus the jailing and all the other fees that come along with that, and processing in courts, and, you know, that's very expensive. You know, I think the town would save a whole lot more money just having a free shelter, especially if you enforce a law saying it's illegal to be homeless. If you say it's illegal to be homeless, then you need to have an opportunity for the people who can't afford a home. You have to, because it's non-humane. I mean, you cannot not sleep. It's not a question. You have to sleep. Your body needs to. Your body will shut down and sleep regardless of if you want to or not. It's a health thing, you know. But, you know, a lot of people look down on homeless, especially the government. They think they're bad people, you know, that they're all drug users, or they're all alcoholics, or they're all out there to scam somebody, or this or this or this, and it's just not the truth. I mean, are there some bad people? Absolutely. There's bad people that are rich, though, and there's bad people that are, you know, anything. You know, there's bad people in politics, but homeless people are not bad people. Homeless people there are some, but in general, no. They're just people who are hard on their luck and they lost everything. And once you lose everything, it is so freaking hard to get it all back. It is one of the hardest things to recover from. Just because being homeless is expensive. It's so expensive. So and it's hard to save. And then you have to worry about having money on you. Like, okay, so you're homeless and you're supposed to save up. So you're supposed to keep, a lot of homeless people don't have the proper, means to get banks and do all this stuff because they don't have money for it. Like me, I don't have the birth certificate or social security card. A lot of banks want you to have 2 forms of ID. I can't get a bank account. Luckily, I have Chime, but not everybody can afford a phone, But it is what it is. I don't know. It's a difficult thing, and it's just it's a hard thing. It's a lonely thing, and it's an expensive thing. It's not a place I wish anybody to be in. If I could cure homelessness, that's the first thing I would do in life is cure homelessness. There's so many people out there that are way worse than me, way worse health-wise, way worse financially, and they don't have a vehicle. I'm blessed to have a vehicle. I'm not sleeping on a I've been out there too. I didn't always have a vehicle. I've been homeless when I started all this. I lost my vehicle. I was homeless living on the streets when I first got diagnosed with diabetes. But I worked my way up. I got odd jobs. I did what I had to do to get the car. The car broke down. Then we did, I did what I had to do when we got the van, and then we came here, New Mexico, and here, it's just been a process of, doing whatever I could to get everything I could, and it's slowly getting a little bit better. It's just a very long, unfortunate, long process. But I could see myself doing a lot better here and making it a lot easier. Like I said, I've had so many people reach out to me already. After I get off this live, I've got to make sure and check to see if anybody else wrote and all that, because it happens quick, and I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm going to make sure, I don't work for any weirdos that report my thing as the wrong name. But I'm just going to, keep doing what I got to do. But anyways, guys, like I said, I'm going to make it a short one tonight. I've got to get up early. I'm tired. I don't really have much else to say tonight. But I definitely will always go live at 8 o'clock, and we just don't have a whole lot of people on tonight either, so it's just not really getting our hours tonight anyways. So but I appreciate everybody who does tune in and watches later, so make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. If you guys wish to support the channel, the links are in the top right hand corner. And have a good night, kitten, and thank you for showing up, and we will be back tomorrow after work.